To the modern mystic, who's just basically become a bullshit artist. You know, what a game player. Talk about any other philosophical subject he requires all this intellectual honesty and discipline. Doesn't let the free willers get away with much. But you start talking about the economy, oh no, unicorns everywhere. We can't go there, we can't go there because that's the sacred unicorn ground. It's not practical, he says. It's not practical, your change. No, that truth isn't practical. I mean, it's like some guy, before the Civil War saying, no, you can't fight over slavery because it's impractical. It's impractical to have that argument. Slavery must be. People won't go for it. People aren't going to die because they want to save, their civilization because they realize that part of their civilization is uncivilized and that's going to be a failure. No, that can't happen. People won't die for that. I mean, bullshit, Nick. Bullshit. I mean, god damn, you're such a cheater. So you're saying it's off limits to go where the truth is because you say it can't happen. And then on top of that, what's your change? What you're suggesting is going to be that it's going to save the world, it's going to save the economic system, it's going to make something secure. You're going to change the word king to the word Ling, and then maybe to Ming. That's what you're going to do? You're not going to get rid of the concept. No, you're just going to change its name, and that's going to solve the problem. Not even close to real. So, and then, even worse than that, yeah, I'm going to nail your commenters, by the way. I'm going to fuck them all over, royally. 6 videos, just pointing out what a bunch of imbeciles they are. The racist included. But then you make a video where you play some sort of my dick is bigger than your dick kind of crap. My government would have the biggest army. And yeah, I'll agree with you. Anarchists are there's no way it can work. It goes straight to monarchy. It goes straight to your system. That happens automatically, yes. Okay? But a people's worker society guess what, Nick? You're not going to have any people in your society. You're just going to have a bunch of rich people with a big fence. And they might be able to buy some mercenaries, like Kuwait. Right? You might be able to buy the U.S. government to protect you or something, but there's not going to be a U.S. government. And you're not going to be able to buy my workers. All you can have is mercenaries, where I'm going to have an army of people who give a fuck. And we'll see what the fuck happens. Because, see, unlike your nation, my nation will pay the highest wages to workers in the world. My nation will pay the highest, the lowest rates on borrowing money in the world. So I'll not only have the most deposits, I'll have the most workers. So you deal with those 2 issues. But you're just so full of shit to play the game this way. I mean, this is idiotic. You were going to be the moderator or something. This is bullshit moderation. This is a crooked umpire. You've got the fixes in. You're defending you give us labels, maligning our names and what we're talking about. I mean, I could do the same thing to you. You just want to create a fucking monarchy. And that's the failure. Consolidation of wealth is the failure. You don't get it, because I guess you're too fucking dim. But again, make the argument. Explain how giving interest to money for doing nothing isn't inflationary. Explain how that isn't the truth. God damn. And I just can't believe you just turned into such a prick. And just think, the other day I was defending you as the second smartest person on YouTube. Yeah, it was a big mistake, because you're obviously, on this subject anyway, all integrity goes out this fucking window. And you, like all the rest of the unicorn defenders, are going to defend your unicorn. Let's not argue the truth. Let's argue it's practical, what people can understand. Yeah, so let's limit to what they can understand. Well, currently, right today, the only thing they can understand is, American Idol. So yeah, nothing's going to work. All right, but maybe when they're on the edge of the revolution and somebody puts the choices to them, maybe they can understand then. Maybe they'll be willing to listen to the argument. All right, so you had some paradoxical problem of how do you create the first currency. Well, it's not that fucking complicated, Nick. So I'll give you the fucking answer. Well, you print a currency, and you go up to every person and you say, well, what stuff do you got? You got a house, you got a car, what do you got? What do you own? And we will give you money representing what you own. Now, basically, it would be debt, because if you don't, you can either not accept the money and just say, I will keep my possessions, or we will lend you money at no interest on your possessions. So basically, what we're going to do is give you a free loan on the value of your possessions, because it's a collateralized loan. And so you give people the money to use. Now, obviously, they have a job, they're not going to need to use that money. So they'll be able to go right back and say, I'd like to buy my house back, buy my car back from the government. So they'll have no need for that borrowed money for anything more than the first few days of the economy. And so they'll be in the same position we're in right now. I mean, you'll have to have money coming in, or you'll have to accrue debt to live. So it's not going to change anything. And the secondary aspect of it is, at that point, when we do that transition to the new currency, we simply change the rules for how much money you can get for money. So the exchange rate on old money would be something like, yeah, we'll give you the first, whatever, $30,000 of cash you own, American cash, and we would give you real money for that cash. And then over that, the percentage would keep decreasing. And by the time you got to $1 million, you wouldn't get anything back. That kind of a system. Once you had $1 million worth of assets, we just say, nope, that's all you get as an individual. You can't have any more. Even if you have $1 billion, you can't have it. And that balances out all this old debt, balances out all the bullshit money. All right, then second, you argued that there's no way for a currency to be invadable by some other foreign entity. And of course there is. I don't use francs when I buy anything in this country. Francs are useless. So all I have to do is make American dollars useless in foreign exchange. So if I just say simply, nope, we're not going to negotiate in American dollars. You're not going to be able to take American dollars out of this country, take it into some other country, and make more American dollars. It's just not going to happen, because we're not going to let the dollar out of our country. Just like we don't let garbage money, like francs, into our country. We don't negotiate with them. So that's it, period. We can control what comes in and out of a country, especially as we move to electronic money that is so easily monitored. So yeah, there's ways of controlling who can pervert your currency and whether or not you allow it to be the standard. And as you have pointed out in a video, the only thing that's unique about the American currency is that all other currencies have now been based upon it. They've all become stepchildren of it. So that was part of what allowed the whole world to get itself into this trouble, was the fact that they all tied their future to a useless currency. A currency that was just building up mountains and mountains of debt, which was their own stupid fault. So anyway, we can just go over this again, but you didn't refute anything. You just say somehow that paying money is not inflationary. It's guaranteed inflationary. That inheritance is not completely corrosive to the work ethic and to valuing productive labor. And that you haven't explained what the wealthy's valuable contribution is. How exactly we get the peak productivity out of humanity, by overpaying people for birthright because they were born to the right parents. How that isn't corrosive to an economy. You haven't explained that. You haven't defended any of that shit. What you will defend is that, well, I think we can make people in the world desperate enough to work for 10 cents a day. I think we can do that. So you're perfectly satisfied to enslave desperation and call that an economy, and say you have succeeded because you have managed to create slaved productivity, slave-like a level of productivity, but you can't see the grotesque and disgusting nature of birthright. I mean, fuck you. Video.